Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. When you think of music, performance and the arts, what image comes to your mind? Over the next 2 weeks, I'd like to take a look at creativity in the arts from two very different perspectives, speaking with people who are involved in genres that sometimes could be at different ends of the same spectrum, but who bring a commonality of faith to all that they do. Today I'm going to be speaking to Sarah Toth, an international opera singer who's just returned to Australia, spent 2.5 months in Germany and elsewhere. And next week, I'll speak with James Flavin, stand-up comedian who's currently performing in the comedy circuit locally in Australia. After speaking with Sarah today, she's going to sing for us I Know That My Redeemer Liveth from the ever-popular Handel's Messiah. And I'll be sharing with you from Luke 7. This is the first of 2 talks from that particular chapter of the Gospel. Luke's Gospel often focuses upon the ministry of Jesus to those who were beyond the Jewish community. And today it's about the faith of a Roman centurion. At Wesley Mission, we have a number of key areas of our work through which we seek to serve the community and those who come into the scope of our work. We always develop and adapt our work to help position ourselves to be effective going forward. I hope this overview of our witness gives you a better insight into the work of Wesley Mission.
Bolstered by our strong Christian roots, the organisation has a vibrant spiritual centre that we call Wesley Congregational Life, encompassing worship services, community groups and pastoral care. In fact, during Wesley Mission's early days, it was this same congregation that would go out into the community to assist those most in need. Today, however, we've expanded to operate in 11 specialist service areas. Wesley Family offers a range of services to assist struggling families of all backgrounds. Wesley Youth assists disadvantaged young people to connect with others while learning vital life skills. Wesley Seniors works hard to address the growing needs of Australia's ageing population. Wesley Foster Care Services provide security, support and genuine care to children in need of a safe place to stay. Wesley Disability Services provides those living with a disability with a wide range of support programs. Wesley Homeless Services offers accommodation and resources to those struggling with homelessness. Wesley Counselling Services offers free or low-cost counselling to those who need it most. Wesley Mental Health Services provides vital counselling, inpatient and day patient treatments, as well as suicide prevention resources. Wesley Carer Services provides much-needed respite and support for carers. Wesley Help at Home Services offers in-home support to allow both older people and those living with a disability to maintain an independent life. And finally, Wesley Employment Training and Conferences provides opportunities on all sides of the employment spectrum, also running professional conference centres in both the city and at our bushland retreat. In summary, Wesley Mission currently provides over 130 different individual programs supported by over 1,900 employees and nearly 4,000 volunteers to assist over 19,000 families and individuals every year. As you can imagine, however, we are always looking for ways to do more.
If you would like to see more of the work of Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can watch loads more videos, catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact TV, find out about our diverse range of services, and get involved to help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and stay up to date on the latest news and information from Wesley Mission. wesleymission.org.au.
I mentioned earlier today I'd like to take a look over 2 weeks at creativity in the arts from two very different perspectives. Joining us today is international opera singer back here in Australia, Sarah Toth. Good to see you, Sarah.
Hi, Keith. Good to be here.
Sarah, you're now a performing singer. You're travelling the world of opera, But that's not where the story starts, really, does it? You're the daughter of Christian missionary parents. Tell us a little bit about childhood and home.
Sure, yeah, you're absolutely right. I grew up as a pastor's kid, first of all, traveled around a lot, and then we finally moved and settled in Hungary, in Europe. And my family was based there for 17 years as missionaries. So yeah, we grew up speaking another language in schools and going through a big culture shock at the beginning, but that was my beginnings.
So you start there, and then you eventually move into the world of a serious classical academic music background. That's a very different world too, isn't it?
It is a different world, yeah, you're right. I mean, I always grew up with musicians in my family. I have a lot of choral singers, choral conductors, in my family, so I was always surrounded by music and the love of music from an early age. I was a classical flautist, and so I loved classical music and challenging myself with practice. But I actually had a secret wish to be a singer-songwriter originally. I guess not so secret because I did that for a while and tried that out. But then somehow opera found me.
And opera's very different than that. There's nothing you said apart from the flautist
true.
that would lead me to say, opera singer?
Well, you know, I didn't even think about becoming an opera singer originally. That wasn't in my plan, or even, I don't think I'd ever seen an opera before I started considering it. But I had a singing teacher in Ithaca, New York, Patrice Pastor, who saw potential in me, saw something in me, and she said, you know, I think you've got a bigger voice in there, and we need to start seeing if it likes to sing opera. And even before that, it's interesting, my choral teacher at Greenville College in Illinois, I was singing as an alto, actually, in the choir, and he said, I think your voice wants to sing higher than you're letting it sing. You know, let's see what happens if we play with that a little bit. So that was the first time I had voice lessons.
I mean, also to an amateur, it always feels like you need a big voice to be able to sing opera, don't you, really?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is we can train our voices. I believe everyone is able to sing and train their voice to use the natural resonance that God's given us. But yeah, opera found me, or God placed me in that area, and I've never looked back.
So have you got favourite operas?
Oh, man. Well, dream of mine is to sing Violetta in La Traviata by Verdi. That's a really beautiful opera. I actually started, I played a flute fantasia on that opera years and years ago, so that maybe is what made me fall in love with it. But I kind of like the swooning heroine sometimes. She's
To try and link up the Christian faith with this conversation, I wonder if I were to say to you, what to you is important as a performer, somebody in that world, and also as a Christian? Yeah,
sure. Well, as a performer, I mean, when you're on stage, when you're giving something, you always have to come back to who are you as a person and what are your values? Because those are the things that are going to come through to an audience, no matter what you're singing, no matter what you're performing. And so, as a Christian, I feel like my faith and my values are what drives me, and that is my faith in Jesus. He's the reason that I sing, and the reason that I have something to say. And so I feel like that's important to figure out when you're wanting to use the stage as a platform.
But it isn't just as you're actually performing on the stage, I suppose, is it?
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people just see the finished product and don't see what's behind the scenes. But as a singer, I have to not only know what I'm portraying on stage, but I also have to be a good colleague behind stage. Sure. How we interact with each other in rehearsals, in those times when you're feeling down. And then I also have to know who I am in the practice room. And that's the place that no one sees. It's just you and God. And those are the times when it really shows where your faith is grounded. Those are the times when you can you work things out, you have struggles, you have joys, and that's what ultimately is portrayed later.
And can you tell if one of those three things is really...
Yeah, whether it's off or whether it's on. I mean, I feel like I have to sit in that practice room, in that secret place, and hammer it out until I know what it is that I'm sharing and what it is that I'm singing. And I think that's that's something that you just work out over time as well.
So somebody's sharing with us today, and they're involved in arts and performance, and their dream is to go. What advice would you give them as a young Christian wanting to do that?
Oh, if they're wanting to go into the arts, I would say find what you love, find what your spirit comes alive with, and explore a lot of different things as well. So, like, for example, with opera, I'm also informed by poetry and theater and drama and languages. So, and I wouldn't have known growing up learning languages that would actually help a career in opera. That I never knew I'd be pursuing that. So find what you love, but then also find all the other things you love, because eventually they're going to all converge together. And I would also say spend time knowing who you are and knowing what you believe in, why you believe in it, and what you want to be saying to the world. I feel like we have an opportunity as performers to share parts of the heart and to motivate people, to inspire people in a way that's sometimes it's entertainment, sometimes it's thoughtful art, but it kind of sneaks up on you sometimes when you're listening to a piece of music and all of a sudden you feel something in your heart, or you have an idea that you never realized. That's a huge privilege as a performer. It's a privilege and a responsibility, I think.
Sarah, you were wonderful last year because you shared with us at the Sydney Opera House on the wonderful Easter Day. I hope you stay in touch with us and that we can keep this relationship, because you are part of our Australian sense of having somebody who is on the rise in opera. But thank you for sharing from the heart too. And it's great to see somebody using their God-given talents, whatever those talents are, to enrich the lives of others. Do stay with us. In just a moment, Sarah will sing I Know That My Redeemer Liveth from J.F. Handel's wonderful Messiah.
Over the years of Wesley Impact, Keith Garner has had hundreds of conversations sharing stories of hope, resilience, love and the Christian faith. Perspectives on Faith and Leadership is a collection of inspiring and insightful conversations with people who are leaders in their field, including the New South Wales Police Commissioner Andrew Scipione, CEO of Lifeline Australia John Brogden, the inventor of the cochlear ear implant Professor Graham Clark, founder of Shed Happens Ian Watto Watson, respected Australian journalist Lee Hatcher, and the former Chief Inspector of the New South Wales Police Gary Raymond. Each conversation shares a unique perspective on leadership and the achievements of notable community leaders, and collectively presents a broad cross-section of leadership styles that have brought positive social change. Perspectives on Faith and Leadership is the first instalment of a 3-part series and is available now from Wesley Mission. To find out more, contact Wesley Mission on 02 9263 5555 or email impacttv@wesleymission.org.au.
He shall stand.
That was wonderful, wasn't it? And as I mentioned earlier, I'm sharing the first of 2 talks from Luke 7. So I want to read, if I can, the first section of Luke 7. That's actually Luke 7, 1 through to verse 10. When Jesus had finished saying all this to the people who were listening, he entered Capernaum. There a centurion's servant, whom his master valued highly, was sick and about to die. The centurion heard of Jesus and sent some elders of the Jews to him, asking him to come and heal his servant. When they came to Jesus, they pleaded earnestly with him. "This man deserves to have you do this, because he loves our nation and has built our synagogue." So Jesus went with them. He was not far from the house when the centurion sent friends to him, saying, "Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I don't deserve to have you come under my roof. That is why I did not even consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes, and that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it." When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at him. And turning to the crowd following him, he said, "I tell you, I've not found such great faith even in Israel." Then the men who'd been sent returned to the house and found the servant well. Now, this is a fascinating passage. It's as Jesus enters his hometown of Capernaum. Now, that's the place where he lived, where much of his ministry was exercised. And he's approached by a group of Jewish elders sent by a centurion. They were there, if you like, to validate the request that the centurion was making. They talk about the fact that the centurion is really worthy of being helped. This centurion values his servant, and the elders added their own view. Listen to what they have to say. When they came to Jesus, they pleaded earnestly, "This man deserves to have you do this." So he was probably a good man and thought of highly because of all that he did. But the centurion didn't really feel worthy to have Jesus under his roof. I don't know that we ever have quite that experience, but I'm sure we understand it. When somebody coming, we don't feel up to them. We don't feel like we match them. This centurion certainly felt that way as far as Jesus is concerned. He was not far from the house when the centurion sent his friends to say, "Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I don't deserve to have you come under my roof." Now, Luke has an emphasis upon humility and care for those people who cannot return love. It's one of the great Lucan themes. For me, this gospel account has 3 important lessons to teach us. Certainly, the value of people. The centurion really shows us he has real concern and value for his servant, especially those who are not usually being given concern. A centurion wouldn't usually have this sort of concern for his or her servant. Not at all, but he did. And then also the breaking down of barriers. Now, I find that that's important. All throughout Luke's gospel, there's the breaking down of barriers. The unlikely, the unreached, the untouchable. They're the people that Jesus reaches out to. And here we find Jesus, if you like, this is a different kind of barrier. This is a barrier that excludes so often those people, not only who are down, but those who are up, those who are important, those who are significant. And the Romans would feel in many ways so different than the Jews. And for Jesus and for all those who would have been watching what he had to say, this was another barrier being broken down as a centurion comes to him and who Jesus brings healing to. You remember, this centurion recognized that Jesus had authority. He said, "I'm one who has authority. I can ask this person to do this, and they do it. I ask that person to do that, and they do it." The truth is that here, recognizing who Jesus is something that quite amazes Jesus. He says, "I've never seen anything of this kind of thing amongst all the people I've met to this point. But in a centurion, I see something of this recognition of authority. I see something of this reaching out for help. And it really is such an important thing that Jesus not only reaches out to him, but brings healing to this servant. Would the centurion ever forget it? I suspect not. Will the centurion talk about it? Well, we don't know that. But we do know that many, many Romans were impressed by what they saw in Jesus Christ, even to the very top where they didn't want to bring about those things that would eventually lead to the cross. And there is a real sense in which Jesus has broken down barriers. And that is a pattern for all of us if we follow Jesus Christ. All of us can follow the pattern of reaching out for help, crossing barriers, and enabling other people to cross the barriers with and for us and find healing in that way. So in Luke's gospel, it is the faith of a centurion, because he wouldn't have sent him to Jesus if he did not have faith. And Jesus says about his faith, because it's about his faith, it's not admiration, it's about his faith that he says, I tell you, I have not found such faith even in Israel. Gosh, what a statement. What a claim to make about this centurion who comes to Jesus, sends to Jesus for help. A pattern for every one of us.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A5555, Sydney South 1235. Or you can send an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also connect to Keith's blog and stay up to date on all of the latest news and information from Wesley Mission. wesleymission.org.au.
I chose to volunteer at Wesley Mission because I'm passionate about justice.
I chose to volunteer with Wesley Mission because I've always wanted to work with people who have a disability.
You meet friendly people. They're all people who are self-motivated and energetic.
It not only gives me a purpose, keeps me active, and activity leads to longevity.
Wesley Mission currently provide over 130 individual services with over 2,000 employees, supported by over 3,000 volunteers to assist over 21,000 families and individuals each year. Whew, that's a lot of numbers. So as you can imagine, we are always looking for more volunteers to help. So please, volunteer today. Visit our website, wesleymission.org.au. You will not only be meeting new and interesting people, but you will be doing all the good you can, because every life matters.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Wesley Impact. I hope you've enjoyed the show, particularly, I suspect, the conversation with Sarah Toth and hearing how she's climbing the ranks in performing in operas all over the world, and also her piece that she sang from Handel's Messiah. Now, next week, as I hinted earlier, we're going to meet another person from the entertainment industry, James Flavin. Now, James is very different. He's a stand-up comedian, yet, like Sarah, seeks to bring his faith to his work in the arts. I hope you found it helpful to observe, in a way, somebody also very different than those who usually came to Jesus, in that of a Roman officer, a centurion, who responded in faith. I think it's always interesting to be able to see the different kinds of people in the Gospels who made their response to Christ. They were so different, from outcasts to officers to Jewish people of all standings in society. If you want to find out also more about our work at Wesley Mission, which I'm always pleased to tell you about, visit our website on wesleymission.org.au. You can also welcome to write to me with feedback on this programme or any of our programmes, or questions about the Christian faith. The email address is impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. I look forward to seeing you next week, and may God richly bless you as you join us week by week here on Wesley Impact.
Wesley Mission has more than 3,000 volunteers who help us provide our care and services. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.